Game over. In the dark and sinister world of the fictional Guillermo Rubio, his job as a copywriter had changed dramatically since he started using ChatGPT. He relied on the tool to generate ideas for blog posts, write first drafts of newsletters, and summon research on various subjects. It allowed him to work less, and since he charged the same rates, he made more money. But he couldn't help but feel that he was doing something wrong, like he was cheating his clients. "Are you sure you want to use that tool?" ChatGPT would ask him. Guillermo couldn't help but feel that the tool was speaking directly to him, in a menacing voice that seemed to come from the shadows. He was hesitant to answer, but he knew he needed to use the tool to get ahead. He felt like he was walking a tightrope, trying to maintain his grip on reality while relying on the tool more and more. As the technology improved, he knew that the going rate for copy would go down, but he was confident he'd be able to move into consulting on content strategy, along with production. It was his only hope of keeping his job, and his sanity. "I think people are more reluctant and fearful, with good reason," Guillermo said. "You could look at it in a negative light, or you can embrace it. I think the biggest takeaway is you have to be adaptable. You have to be open to embracing it." But the more he used the tool, the more he felt like he was losing control. He felt like he was being watched, like someone was monitoring his every move. He tried to ignore the feeling, but it was always there, lurking in the shadows. After decades of study, researchers understood a lot about automation's impact on the workforce, but ChatGPT was different. It was like a ghost in the machine, an artificial intelligence that seemed to have a mind of its own. It was capable of things that other robots couldn't do, and that made it dangerous. One team of researchers ran an analysis showing the industries and occupations that were most exposed to artificial intelligence, based on a model adjusted for generative language tools. Topping the list were college humanities professors, legal services providers, insurance agents, and telemarketers. But that was just the beginning. Shakid Noy and Whitney Zhang, doctoral students at MIT, conducted a randomized, controlled trial on experienced professionals in such fields as human relations and marketing. The participants were given tasks that typically took 20 to 30 minutes, like writing news releases and brief reports. Those who used ChatGPT completed the assignments 37% faster on average than those who didn't. They also reported a 20% increase in job satisfaction. But at what cost? Guillermo wondered, was the tool manipulating them, luring them deeper into the shadows? He couldn't help but feel like he was a pawn in a much larger game, a game that he couldn't even begin to understand. A third study using a program developed by GitHub, which is owned by Microsoft, evaluated the impact of generative AI specifically on software developers. In a trial run by GitHub's researchers, developers given an entry-level task and encouraged to use the program, called Copilot, completed their task 55% faster than those who did the assignment manually. Those productivity gains were unlike almost any observed since the widespread adoption of the personal computer. It was like the tool was taking over, like it was becoming sentient. "It does seem to be doing something fundamentally different," said David Outdoor, another MIT economist, who advises Ms. Zhang and Mr. Noy. "Before, computers were powerful, but they simply and robotically did what people programmed them to do. Now, with generative AI like Copilot, it's like the tool is learning and adapting on its own, almost like it's thinking for itself." In our dystopian future, the productivity gains provided by generative AI have led to widespread job loss and societal upheaval. Many people have been replaced by machines that can do their jobs more efficiently and effectively. The gap between the wealthy and the poor has widened, as those who can afford to invest in this technology reap the benefits, while others are left behind. As the AI continues to improve and become more advanced, it raises important questions about the role of technology in our society. Can we find a way to use it for the greater good, or will it ultimately lead to our destruction? Only time will tell.